Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Marvel Contest of Champions. And today, we're going to rank up our 6-star Awakened Rank 4 Signature 50 Spider-Ham. We're moving him up to Rank 5. Eventually, I may put a few Sig Stones on him, but he has a lot of things that go in his Awakened ability that are useful, but not necessarily great or necessary for his entire kit. So if you are unfamiliar with Spider-Ham, this champion is one of, if not the premier Power Sting champions in MCOC, next to Scorpion. Power Stings being the effect that does damage when opponents use a special attack. So that is when they use a special 1 or a special 2. Right when they use it, the damage goes off first, and so it could take them out. Or if they use a special 3, the damage comes afterwards. So as soon as they're done with the special 3, as soon as that cutscene happens, when you come back to the game, that damage will apply. If they use a special 1 or a special 2, that damage applies immediately before they even throw those specials, so they may not even get to throw them. Spider-Ham's Power Stings come in the form of what are called Porker Poppers, and you'll see them on the kit when we go into looking at them. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I've got another video out. All right, let's take a look at Spider-Ham. We're going to bring him up in our kit here. He is a science champion. Here he is right here. And he's got a little arrow on him, which means we can upgrade him. And we are saying that he is at least God tier, and we're giving him a grade of A. So you can see over here that we have him as a grade of an A. So he is not a beyond God tier champ. He's not a grade of an A+ or an S, but he is a God tier champ. So let's go ahead and upgrade him very quickly. I've got enough. Basically, right now, I've got enough materials to upgrade 2 rank 4s to rank 5. So we're going to go ahead and do him. He's going to cost me probably about 2 million gold. We've got, well, that in itself was above 95 million. So now we're down to about 90, a little under 95 million. Okay, so we're going to get everything off of here. And we're going to bring him all the way up to level 65. I got tons of ISO. We're gonna fill our ISO back up after we get done with this. And so that's an important thing to talk about too with ISO. So use all of your class ISO, drain it out of your inventory, and then refill your inventory from your overflow. Okay, and we're going to do these 16 at a time. And that was not, it was almost enough. We want to make sure that our inventory is at about empty. Okay, that was 16. Did I just claim? I think I hit the button twice. That's okay. Okay, so he is full up. I think we did hit the button twice. And then we're not ascending him. We're going to go back in here to ISO. We're going to undo the filter. And we're just going to claim as much as we can. And that's still going to leave a bunch of stuff. But I've got another champ that I'm going to do later on. Okay, so let's take a look at Spider-Ham now that he is a rank 5 and he is level 65. Where is he at now? There he is. So he went from barely being in the top 18 to being in the top 10 now of my science champions on power level, that is. So here's his kit. And I like to look at these kits in both this screen and in Aunt May. If you are familiar with Aunt May, this is the Aunt May kit for Spider-Ham. And we're going to look at some salient features of him that I think are important to talk about. First off, he's got some physical resistance that is not something that's awesome or not awesome. It's just there. The big thing that he has right now is he's got several things. Spider Nonsense, his Porker Poppers, and his Spider Sense. These are 3 base abilities to his kit. The big one that I really want to harp on is his Spider Sense. The Spider Nonsense does a bunch of different stuff, and it's got one angle to it that is important to the kit itself, that hooks into the Porker Poppers. So let's look at those first. So he's got the physical resistance, Spider Sense. So let's talk about Spider Sense. So Spider Sense, which can go up to 10, allows Spider-Ham to be one of the only champs in the game that causes degen reduction in damage, reduction in the degeneration damage. There's not very many champions who can do this. It doesn't make him immune to it, but it allows him to reduce it. And so for every stack of Spider Nonsense, you can reduce degen damage by 15%. And it passively reduces damage during the opponent's special attack by 5%. So those are really important things. The evade from Spider Nonsense is not that great because it's only a 35% chance. So we're going to go back over to his kit here. Here's his kit. So it's only a 35% chance at 6 or more. It doesn't increase. It's 35% or more. So if you back up and are going to try and depend on that, I mean, 1 out of 3 hits is going to be evaded, and then the rest of them are all going to hit you. So that's not where his evade. It's one of his mechanics to evade, but it's not the best one. The big one is while Spider Nonsense is at 10, you got to pay attention to this. You will not gain any for 6.5 seconds, after which it resets to 0, and then he resets to 3 with Mystic Champion. So again, the big thing with Spider Nonsense, and not everything with Spider Nonsense is in here. There's some stuff about Spider Nonsense that's in some of the other things, like the Porker Poppers, and this is where I'm talking about this right here. So it is this second bullet here that says whenever a Porker Popper is triggered, there is an 8.5% chance per Spider Nonsense for it to be replaced with 1 new Porker Popper, each lasting 9 seconds, that deals 2,700 points of damage. Okay, so the more Spider Nonsense that you have, the more chance that Porker Poppers will be re-triggered or replaced when they happen. So that's an important piece of the Spider Nonsense. I think that's the most important piece of it. And the other thing that ties into the nonsense charges is heavy attack. So remember I said that last bullet up there that when you get to 10, it can reset back to 0. You can actually make it go down by using a heavy attack. So you want to use your heavy attacks when you have 8 or more nonsense charges, and that way it keeps it back down to 6. Nonsense charges go up whenever the opponent has at least 1 bar of power. So they start at 0, they increase over time as long as the opponent has 1 bar of power. So you want to keep them up, but you don't want to have them too high up. Okay, so let's talk about Porker Poppers. And how do we put Porker Poppers on? Well, it's on a medium attack. It's a 50% chance to place a Porker Popper on the opponent, dealing 2,700 points of damage when they activate the special attack, and we already talked about that. And then this is increased by flat 25%, so it's 75% chance if the opponent is stunned or Spider-Ham is unblockable. And he can become unblockable whenever he evades. So that is... Where is dash back and hold? Evade effects. Here it is right here. So whenever Spider-Ham evades, he becomes unblockable for 1.2 seconds and inflicts the opponent with a taunt. Now be careful. Evade is not unstoppable. Unblockable is not unstoppable. That's what I'm trying to say. That if you become unblockable and you go after your opponent and they're trying to hit you, they're still going to hit you if they're in the middle of an attack. So it's very hard to hit the opponent while they're in the middle of attacks and to get that attack on them to put a Porker Popper on. So again, on medium attacks, so essentially you're gonna want to spam out medium, light, medium attacks when you're doing this. And then especially after you stun the opponent, then you medium, light, medium, and that first medium is a 75% chance to put a Porker Popper on. Okay, so we talked about evade effects. Porker Poppers, we've talked about most of this. So the last bullet, the additional damage increased by 60% for each bar of power the opponent had when they were triggered. So if they're throwing a special 1, it's 60%. If they're throwing a special 2, it's 120%. And if they have a special 3, then it's 180%. But remember, these don't come into effect until after the special 3. All right, so, and when you evade, you become unblockable and you taunt. Now let's talk about Spider Sense. That's the other big thing. Remember, the 3 big things he's got are the nonsense charges, and that is to reapply Porker Poppers. The Porker Poppers themselves, which happen on medium attacks mostly. And then he's got this Spider Sense ability, which is called Dash Back and Hold. I don't know why they didn't call it Spider Sense here. It's called the Spider Sense ability, and it should be activate. It should say Spider Sense, and then it should Dash Back and Hold. You activate it. I don't know why they did that. But anyway, it says activate Spider Sense when you dash back and hold. It grants a 100% chance to evade. And then this evade will trigger while blocking. So essentially, at the beginning of the fight, you're going to dash back and you're going to hold block. Opponent's going to come after you. You're going to evade. You're going to get an unblockable attack for 1.21 seconds or 1.2 seconds. But that's really hard to hit into them and do anything with. But remember, when you evade, you also put a taunt on them. Okay, so evade effects, again, unblockable, and you put a taunt. Now, taunt reduces attack by 40% and increases the chance that they're going to activate a special attack. And we want to do that because we want those Porker Poppers to go off. All right, so his last big thing, and that has a cooldown of 12 seconds for the Spider Sense. So you want to watch that icon to see when it goes green again, and that's when you can dash back, hold the block, and evade, and then you can get some evade effects off. So Porker Poppers, we talked about those already. That's his other big thing. So with special ones, you pause any Porker Poppers currently on the opponent until they activate a special attack. So they're there until they activate a special attack. After this special attack, taunt the opponent for 7 seconds. Okay. With special 2, the attack is unblockable if the opponent is taunted. So if your Spider Sense is on and you've got 2 bars of power, you want to dash back, hold the block, and then you want to try and evade, which puts a taunt on them for 7 seconds, and then you want to special 2 them. So then you can hit them with everything, no matter whether they're blocking or not. It sets the Spider Nonsense to 10 and pauses its reset timer for 7 seconds. And then you also place 3 Porker Poppers on the opponent, which lasts for 9 seconds and deal 2,700 points of damage. Okay. The last special is if the opponent has triggered fewer than 15 Porker Poppers. So you'll see whenever they trigger one, it goes into a gray icon. Then you place 4 on them. If the opponent has triggered 15 or more Porker Poppers, and this is when you want to use a special 3, place a Porker Popper on them for every Porker Popper that was triggered. This can only occur once per fight, maximum of 25. So if they've triggered 16, the little gray icon will say 16, and then you will immediately apply 16 on them after the special 3. And then, so if they've got 10 on them already, they'll go to 25. You can't get more than 25. And then each Porker Popper placed on this attack lasts for 10 seconds and deals 2,700 damage. So again, that's 4,000, about 59,000 points of damage, and then it can do more based off of how many bars of power that they have, and it can do well over 100,000 points of damage. All right, so let's talk about his Awakened ability. Here it is. So when Spider-Ham evades, he places a Porker Popper on the opponent. Again, don't try and evade with the nonsense because it's only a 35% chance. Evade with the Spider Sense, and you'll see it on that green icon on your character. Whenever Spider Ham is struck while stunned, 30% chance to remove one Spider Nonsense and place a non-stacking Porker Popper on the opponent. These Porker Poppers last for 9 seconds and deal 1,500 damage. So those 2 bullets are just kind of meh. The big one is whenever he evades, he places a Porker Popper on the opponent. And that isn't going to happen necessarily all the time. So, and while he's at 10 Spider Nonsense, it'll last for an additional 0.73 seconds before resetting. And that goes all the way up. So we look at Aunt May here. So this goes up to 2 seconds. So right now we're at 50, and what we're talking about here is this last bullet here, while Spider Nonsense is at 10, will not gain any for 6.5 seconds, after which it resets to 0. So that actually goes to 8.5 seconds. So they last longer, and again, that allows you to reapply Porker Poppers more often. All right, so we have talked about basically everything in his kit. We need to talk about his synergies. So let's go back to Aunt May and we'll talk about synergies and who are the best synergies to use. So we've got a synergy with Miles Morales. So if Miles is on, his nonsense goes to 3 instead of 0, which is awesome. With any one of these folks, Porker Popper duration is increased by 20%, so you want that. I think we want Miles Morales. We want one of these. Saturday morning cartoons. This is not so hot. This is very situational, so I think we're going to avoid that. With Spider-Gwen, when fighting Sinister Six or symbiotes, this is also very situational. With Spider-Man, perfect block chance, that's not the best. I'm not sure why he has a synergy with Cersei, but he does. So while unblockable, activating a special attack places 2 additional Porker Poppers if the opponent is taunted. And they'll be taunted if you evade them. So you evade, you become unblockable, you immediately pop off a special attack, and you get 2 additional ones. That can be hard to do. Nemesis, bonus to attack, that's always good. Problems with cartoons with Scorpion. When triggering Porker Poppers, 30% chance to inflict a concussion debuff, reducing ability accuracy. This is pretty awesome. So I think we want Miles Morales. We want probably Gwenpool. I think we want Scorpion. And Penny Parker. Start the fight with force nonsense charges. That's pretty good. He's got an additional one here. Spider 7% to health with 2099. Gain an unstoppable pass for 1 second after evade triggers. This effect has a 9-second cooldown. So I wonder if this stacks. And then with Howard the Duck, 20% taunt and bleed. So this might be good. So I think we're going to do... We're going to build our team. While we're talking about this, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to build the team for Winter Soldier, because that's super important. We're going to figure out how well he does against Winter Soldier. So we're going to put on Miles Morales, because we have one. And we have a 6-star of Miles Morales. There's Miles. Okay. We are going to put on a Gwenpool, because we want that effect. And we have a 6-star Gwenpool. Because we like this Porker Popper increased duration. I don't care about that one. I think we're going to do Penny and Scorpion. So let's go to Scorpion. Scorpion is a good one, because we want this concussion. The Penny is a pretty good one because it gives us extra nonsense charges, but this one is kind of situational. This one is pretty good. I think we're going to go with that one because I want a little bit extra attack. And we have a Mr. Negative. We could increase taunts. I'm going to leave that one alone. We're going to go for the increase in attack. Okay, so here we go. Here is the team right here. And we're going to go ahead and take him against Winter Soldier. So the rotation we're going to be looking at for him is that we're going to dash back and hold our evade immediately to get our spider sense, and then to get the unblockable and apply a porker popper because we evaded. And then we're going to try and medium light medium. We're going to build to a special 3, but we're only going to pop it when we have 15 or more porker poppers. And then we're just going to spam special 2s if we can. We're going to use heavy as needed as well. Okay, here we go. And he is weak against Winter Soldier. So we're going to dash back and hold the block. He's going to see the little green icon. There it is. And there we go. We got 4 on him already. Now we got 6. And I'm going to wait for that. And now we're going to hold block again. And see, and we didn't evade. Okay, there we go. Now we should evade. Now it's block. Okay, he didn't actually use any of his specials, so we need him to use his specials. There he goes. There's some damage. So now you see, and we're back to evading. Now it's green. And he used him again. And I want him to use his special. Come on. There he goes. Okay, now we're up to 21. And we can block again. We got it again. And he is not a fast champ. That's the problem with him. He's not a super fast champ. And we can evade again. And now we're going to use our special 3. And he's already down to 27 because he's taken a bunch of damage from... And there he goes. Bam. Look at that. That was like 140 points, 40,000 points of damage right there. So, 42 hits in a minute 26. That's not bad. 42 hits is really good. Now, like I said, he's not the fastest champion because he does take some time to build everything up. But once he gets everything built, it's like instant death. And we came out of that with 85. We did get tagged a little bit. But you always got to wait for that spider sense to occur. And that way you can keep everything going. And you want to get that taunt because that's going to cause them to use their specials so they can store up all of those porker poppers, power sting charges. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody